Greetings and welcome to some of this and some of that at First Nazareth Baptist Church, where Blakely N. Scott is our pastor. We're happy to have you on, and even happier to have with us to discuss for the sports fanatics, the sports fans. We have our own Coach Willie Washington from athletic director at Benedict College, and we also have our very own Olivia Irick, marketing specialist, former tot of the church. And we also have Trustee Reggie on to guide our conversation just to give space on the latest news on what's going on in the sports world. So feel free to chime in on the conversation and share, and we want to hear more from you. I'm turning it over to Reggie now.
Good afternoon, good evening, First Nazareth. As we get ready to get started on summer this and some of that, what we're going to be talking about is sports and the impact that it has in our environments. The Bible talks a lot about sports, and Paul does that in the New Testament. There are several verses on that. But I got to ask the question, Coach Washington and Olivia, are y'all ready for some football? And if y'all are, tell me who your teams are. Who do you pull for locally and in the state and professional?
I'm kind of ready for football. So locally in the state, I'm a Clemson fan.
Okay.
Professionally, I'm having it rough right now. I'm kind of mad at my team, but I'm a Steelers fan. I'm kind of upset that we didn't go get Shador. So
Okay.
I might take a break this season or go or root for the Falcons, but they don't do that great either. So it might be a rough season of football for me.
Look, I'm a Steelers fan too. How about
Well, quite naturally, I'm going to be a Tagger, a Benedict College Tagger fan.
Let's go.
Being here for the last 38 years at Benedict, so quite naturally in the state. But I kind of watch the other teams play when we're not playing or when I get a chance to play. But this is we brought football back in '96, and we've been trying to build a program. Well, we built a championship program a couple of years ago, where we championships and won the national. But we're a Division II program, so we're not a Division I program like Carolina, Clemson, or anything like that. But Division II, we were pretty tough going in. But we're in a rebuilding stage, so 4-4 last year, and I expect for us to improve on this particular year. Now, my professional team got to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I kind of favor Pittsburgh because I talk to the owner's son every weekend when my son, Gerard Washington, was playing at C. Johnson. Pittsburgh, at the end of the day, they brought him and they sent him to NFL Europe on a contract. So he played for Pittsburgh in Europe until they cut that league out. So I've always been to Pittsburgh, and I know a lot of guys around that play Pittsburgh. So I'm pulling for Pittsburgh, although I kind of watch all of them, but Pittsburgh would be my team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I appreciate that because we're going to kind of segue into the Benedict football thing. A couple of years ago, we were really, really good, and you were actually the coach of basketball, and you did wonders for things when I was there in the '80s and the early '90s. I am also a Steeler fan. I'm a Minnesota Viking fan for life, but I became a Steeler fan when I got the opportunity to go see them play and all of that. And I was a little bit miffed also because they didn't get Shadua, and I was saying, why are we running after Aaron? But anyway, let's hope that they do pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Really. Coach Washington, you connected with us in terms of the Benedict College football, and we go over there every year just to see them a couple of times a year. What are expectations in terms of football?
Well, like I said, we went 4-4 last year. With the new coach. That was kind of like a middle of the road record for the upcoming first year coach. Now he's bringing in over 75 new players to put along with the 75 that comes back from last year. So I'm expecting we have a tough schedule, but I expect us to move up and maybe win anywhere from 6 to 8 games this year. and be in a position where if we beat the right teams, we could finish in the top three, or anything can happen. Possibly we could make the playoffs again, but always play for a championship. But it's going to be tough this year with that many freshmen and sophomores and transfers. So we have a mixture. The coach feel good. If the coach feel good, I feel pretty good. But I've had my meeting with him, and he kind of knows the ones I expect to win, and then that's all of them. But I'll keep him here if he can continue this to win the ones we should win, and then we be respectful. And then next year, now the third and fourth year, I expect the championship.
Okay. All right. The high aspiration. Those are good things in terms of just how we do business. We were what was right before that coach got there. We were 11-1, 11-2 for about 2 or 3 years straight. So
Yeah.
our expectations are high.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? We appreciate y'all coming out, and First Nazareth is always invited over anytime they want to come, and in fact, First Nazareth have really played a role in everything I do in athletics. You've been there to support. Even when we would bring the Willie brothers to town, the choir would always come over for homecoming and participate, and we just had a good time. And we've had Dr. Scott over several times to our appreciation and giving awards, especially on church night. So we want to do something special when we have church night by bringing the entire country. I just think that it's a good relationship that we.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all coming. You come over there every year in terms of bringing the football team up there, and Pastor Scott C. Make sure that you're recognized, and those are good things, really good things. All right, I'm going to kind of segue on to the next one, and I want to involve Olivia in this because Olivia has played professionally, and she grew up as a tot, but she played in college and she played, like I said, professionally. I'm going to ask about the WNBA and where it's going, and high school, and Don Staley, and that like. Um, can you, Olivia? Can you give us some information on that? Because I know that you are up there in Indianapolis this weekend, and they have their All-Star game.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to correct you. I didn't play professionally. It was my sister. So I know a lot of people mix us up, but I did play in college. Erica went on to play. Yes, my sister Erica. She played professionally. But as far as where the game is going, it's going up. It's going in a really good direction for women's basketball on all levels. You're getting a lot more attention, a lot more fans and viewership on all levels, from grade school up to professionally. It's a lot of new fans and new excitement and energy around the sport. And, the talent has always been there. The competitiveness has always been there. I just think that, this new generation of talent has brought new eyes and new light onto the sport. And so, it's something exciting. It's something good to tune into.
Okay. We I know that one of the things that we're hearing in the media, and they love to highlight this, and you got Ryan Clark speaking out about it, and you've also got Shaquille, the whole tension between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
What's your ideals concerning that?
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, everybody loves a villain story. Like I think, when you think about just all sports, like the rivals and the villains, that's what people tune into. And so I think the media has kind of boosted some of that to help ticket sales and help viewership. But I just think that those are just two competitive ladies that, bring everything to the court. And I some of it is, not as great because it kind of takes away from their skills and what they're bringing to the sport, and just kind of create these narratives that have nothing to do with their gameplay. So that's unfortunate. But just that rivalry, I think it's it can be good, it can be exciting. It's no different from your Michael Jordans and Isaiah Thomas, or your Kobe's versus whoever. So it's good for the sport. I just hope that it can grow continuously without it having to be this narrative around race, or narrative around like Caitlyn versus Angel, or making one out to be a villain and the other one to be this hero. I hope that some of that will kind of leave the game.
Okay. Okay. What's your opinion on Nafisa? Talia?
Oh, she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. I think that because she's well, one, Asia is the real GOAT. Let's the hometown girl. That's the GOAT. But Nafisa Collier, she's really good and talented as well. I think that she's kind of been overlooked over the years because she has a quiet game. She's very efficient. She's a good scorer. She's a good overall player. She can do a lot of things. But because her game is not as flashy as most, we haven't really given her the recognition that she deserves. But I think she's starting to get it now, and that's been good to see.
That's a good thing, because and Coach Washington, I want you to because you're the athletics director. I know that whole Connecticut, Nafisa and Maya Moore and all of those people over there, Connecticut and Carolina on a collision course. They're going to be, in terms of, they're the two powerhouses. What's your opinion on what Don has done in terms of just putting South Carolina on the map? And also just the other coach. What are your thoughts on them?
Well, one thing about it, Coach Staley have turned this state and turned the whole world of basketball around. She's the top. I mean, years ago they would talk about the coach up at Connecticut, and they would talk about the coach down at LSU. But right now, Coach Staley, and you look back at her, and you look back at how she recruited, and look back at her players. Her players are deemed to go to the next level. And say, hey, you take her, because I'm going to have this person coming out and speak up for you. Hey, down their way. So, Coach, I had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times. In fact, she's been over to a couple of football games. Stop in, and she's just a down-to-earth type person, and you wish her well. I mean, you wish the team well for the team. But now, I noticed that there will be no regular season Connecticut and Carolina game this year. So
Yeah.
I noticed that, and that's been a big game. Everybody wait to see when that happened. But as an athletic director, I can understand scheduling, and I can also understand, hey, look, Anita, I'm number one. I want to wait till I get there. We're going to have to play me then, not during the regular season when we're trying to build, or someone is hurt, someone's out. Because when you're nationally ranked, you feel that they feel at Coliseum. Hey, look, everybody in South Carolina will say, hey, that if you can get a seat to that game down there when Coach Staley and her team is playing, you're lucky, because and they travel the same way. So without a doubt, my hat is off to Coach Staley, and everybody wants her, and I'm glad that she's making South Carolina a home right now.
Yep.
I totally agree, Coach. I had the opportunity. This was about 10, 12 years ago. She came, I was officiating a game out in Friarsgate, and she came in the gym and she literally shook hands with everybody in there. She's not a person who is standoffish. She's not a person who thinks it's about her. She genuinely wants the best for those athletes, and I think she helped out. Start the WNBA? What was that, 25, 30 years ago? She was playing. So that's a good thing. It is.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing up there, Olivia, up there with the WNBA this weekend.
Yeah, so part of what I do is marketing in the fashion and streetwear, footwear industry. So a lot of times that kind of cross into sport and, with women's basketball being a passion of mine. I've been, a season ticket holder with the Atlanta Dream, and that has kind of opened doors for me to do, several projects and contract work within the WNBA. And so I was asked to come speak out at a event here for WNBA All-Star Weekend. I've also will be vending some of my product, under my brand, Just Living. I did a WNBA collection recently, and so we'll sell some of that product here. But I'm excited to, just speak about, how fashion influences sport, and just, how players, you know, bring fashion into their personality and into their individual brands on and off the court.
Okay.
I
I
think
know.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I just think it's great to be able to recreate your brand and your business going from, athlete into marketing specialist. How did you get into, when did you decide that, okay, maybe I need to pivot into fashion at this point? Then I'm a
Yeah.
hush.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that because, to be honest, when I graduated from college, I was a little bit defeated, knowing that like my career in basketball was probably, coming to an end. And, just with a lot of, diligence and, prayer, it came back around. I didn't know how it would come back around. I always knew that marketing was my baby. I went to school for that. But I just didn't kind of know like how I would, enter into marketing and within what industry. And so I've always been, someone passionate about fashion and sneakers. And so just from being myself and, just working in accounting, really, someone that knew me from, a small group that I was attending in Atlanta, just noticed that I always had on sneakers and, just dress fly, so to speak. And just randomly asked me one day, do you want to work at Nike? And I wasn't looking for a job at the time, but I was like, okay, God, let's see what you got here. So, I went and, took a part-time job at Nike, and it just, I started meeting a lot of people within the organization, and it, kind of took a life of its own. And that's what essentially brought me into fashion. And then, from there, I started, creating my own products and working with other brands to creative direct their products and launches, doing launch events for, releases within the sneaker industry. And of course, just how sport and fashion comes together. That's what kind of brought me into the basketball arena. So it's been a journey. It's been rewarding. It's been fun. It's been, a lot of discovery in the journey as well. And so I'm just super grateful.
So I hear you. I know Asia's part. Isn't Asia part of that Nike brand too?
Yes.
She is okay. And I think
Yep.
Angel got her own shoe line out. She must be with Reebok, but that's good that women have their own shoe brands also and shoe lines.
Yeah, it's super cool, especially to see just the sneaker community come out for Asia's release. So, my first job was at Foot Locker in Columbia Mall. And so I kind of saw how the market responded to footwear through the years. So during that time, it was, just, a very select few of people that were just sneaker enthusiasts that would line up for sneakers and, camp out for them. And then, just kind of died out. And then like there's just been this like huge flux of people that are into sneakers out of the blue. But it kind of still was like slow in South Carolina. But when Asia's shoe released, and then, in Columbia was the first stop on her release. So Columbia received the shoes first. And
Mhm.
to see people lined up down the street, that was like
Oh,
amazing to see.
oh,
Yeah.
290, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So it was amazing to see. I'm super happy for Asia. She definitely deserves it. Nike did a good job on the sneaker, on her marketing rollout, and how they're pushing her brand. So yeah, it's special. And to your point too, Angel with Reebok, they're doing a great job too. And she's in a special place because she's not only being that face for women, but she's also being the face of Reebok and just bringing them back and just kind of bringing them back to life because Reebok kind of died down a little bit. And so they're trying to revive themselves. And she's kind of being the lead in charge in that.
Well, I know that the women's market is untapped. It really it's wide open, and you got Nafisa and the couple of girls that play with the LA Sparks. It's growth there. It sure is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. A part of, just my research and, just kind of analyzing the market. The WNBA has like increased in merchandise sales like 300% within the last year. So they're reaching, insane numbers as far as like what they're selling as, with fam gear and, just endorsement deals that are associated with WNBA players. So, it's a huge market to be in. And I'm just happy for the ladies because, one of the big pain points for them is that they don't get paid as much as the male athlete. You know, you got to buy tickets. Those things matter. You can't just pull money out of the air. So I'm glad that they're able to find income in other arenas, just by creating their own individual brands.
You're exactly correct. Coach Washington, let me ask this question because this is a coincidence that we're having some of this and some of that for tonight, and the ESPN is on here. I have to ask both of you all, who is the GOAT in basketball?
Men or women?
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, a lot of people gonna fit into that category because you have outstanding players, and it depends upon who they put around those individuals. I feel like that in both men and women. Sure, we can identify that one person that's on that team that can take charge and really go, but I'm thinking that put some people around those. As I watched the championships this past couple of weeks ago, they just finished up.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who had that supporting cast, I think that those are the ones who really stayed out. But you got to have that, and you'll always have that one player or two players who can take the gang over when things get tight and tough. And
yeah,
I 25 years of coaching, and I want to pause here and just tell Olivia I like to put her with our commissioner of the SIC conference and see if we can get her to come down maybe and speak at one of our conference meetings or be a part of the conference championship if her schedule will permit. Because I think we need to see individuals like her walk in the room and talk about what they're doing with the marketing and branding and what's all out there. Now, we're actually a Nike conference, so Nike school. So not that we don't like all the other brands, but really takes care of us with everything that we need. But I'd like to talk with you maybe after the show and see
absolutely
get you to come down and speak. Normally, being the oldest person in the room, whatever room I walk in, they'll listen. They'll listen to me because they figure I don't know any better when I'm talking. And normally they'll go along with me because I'll just keep saying it over and over. Hey, we got to get this person in front of our young ADs, young coaches, and I'm going to see if we can make that happen if your schedule will permit.
Absolutely. Okay. Like I'm home in Columbia very frequently, so we'll work it out. I would be honored to.
Okay, well, we'll get it worked out because I don't know where the championships will be and the exact date, but I'm going to make certain that through this, I'm going to say, look, I got a young lady that we got to bring in and get this done, and let's get the agreement, and I'll tell the commissioner, and he'll be right on it. I can tell you that.
That'll be cool. I heard, I was told that you've been nominated for the Hall of Fame, so I know that you're gonna get that, Coach Washington, just on your coaching, not with the athletic director, but just that too. So,
well, when you were here, Benedict, we were rolling pretty good. Now,
y'all were very, very good.
Quite a few in my time, and have been around. So I'm very appreciative. I've myself and my wife will be running up on 50 years of marriage.
Okay.
And we got married. She finished one weekend from college and we got married the next weekend. And we've been married almost 50 years. And believe it or not, we've been in Columbia almost 50 years. So we only made one stop on the way here. Quite naturally, out of college, I went to play professional ball overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Now, that was a long time ago. Most of y'all wasn't even born. And I'm sure you weren't born at that time. In fact, I know the Irick family.
Yeah.
Some of my kids, all the kids, grew up with that particular family there at First Nazareth.
Yeah, we know you boys for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, but I'm thinking that young people today, they're growing up in a time. So with the NIL there, with the money there, and you can't tell them not to take the money. Would you tell somebody $1 million?
No.
More than they're gonna make in a bunch of years. What it can do for the family. The only thing is they just got to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
They have a plan, someone who can give them a structure as to how to invest that money, where to put it, and they don't have to have all Rolls Royces right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A nice car. I mean, they can have one if they want to, but and over on the other side, and this is college. This is college.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the young lady who left Carolina to go down to LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Her NIL, no telling what it might be, and I don't know the amount, but you can rest assured it's one of the highest ones out there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ones that they bring in here, Carolina. The schools, the Power 4 schools, they can spend up to $20 million on NIL, and then like over at Carolina, they can get a percentage of what comes in off the gate and put it in the NIL pool. So if you're selling your house out, you're selling that stadium out, quite naturally, you got way more money. And they're finance anyway. But I think that they got to take advantage of that money when it comes in by making investments and getting some. I don't know how that game work. Have a better grip on that, but I spend a lot of time on the management council with the NCAA. I've been on the National Basketball Committee. You name a committee, I've been on it as far as NCAA is concerned. But the only thing there is, in the old days, there was no such thing as an NIL, and you're going to get this contract. But it's good. I can remember when the talk started a few years ago, and what I wanted a guarantee put in that if I recruited you or I signed you, you was going to get a 4-year contract because I want you to get a degree. Because at the end of the day, when you get older and you can't play anymore, if you don't have a business background or some specialty, some type of certificate, you're going to be lost. And you can say, well, why did I? If I had just stayed there, I could have got my degree, or I could have after playing, I can go back and get it. But I want those. But the ones that play that will not receive those NILs.
Right.
Concerned about that group, and I'm concerned about those sports that won't draw. I mean, there's some of those sports that they just playing. They're not getting the same money as everybody receiving. And and on with Division II. So normally when somebody come over to our place doing NIL, they want to give us some products. They want to give them money. They want we're doing this particular thing. This is our business. We'll give everybody some of this because storage room. There's no money normally talked about, or very little money, and so but there's a different thing out there altogether. But you got to live, and you got to go ahead and make sure you make plans, and you need a planner on your side early on.
Yeah. I also want to say, I think it's important that they learn how to manage these deals. Like I see, a lot of these players have NIL deals, and I can see that they're not treating those brands well, as far as like how they're conducting themselves in public, like the character part of it. I think it's cool, you get the money, but how do you keep it? What if your knee blows out? You know what I mean? Or what if you get benched one year? You know what I mean? And so I think that was a lot of concern with a lot of players. It's just like, I need to be that shining star so that I can get NIL money. but a lot of the times who you are off the court and those things that you do that influence and impact people in other ways can still get you NIL. And I think that's the reason why there's so much animosity towards Angel Reese, because they feel like the money that she's getting doesn't match up with what they feel like her gameplay should be. But when you think about who Angel Reese is off the court, she has created this beauty around her, but then she also creates this women's empowerment thing that she has going on as well. So her fandom is not just about what she does on the court, it's about who she is in both arenas. And so I think that character coaching is important. I think that brand management is something that's going to have to be important too with these young kids coming into just all of these deals. It's not just enough to post their label or rock their label. It's like, what are you doing when you have that label on? And can we trust you to represent us well and to be a face for our brand?
So I totally agree. We've seen this act before, and she understands how she's going to take these streams. Just the fact that she can play, just the fact that her clothing, so on and so forth, she's taking it to other levels.
Yeah.
But those are benchmarks for those who come after them to
Yeah.
get. Those are those are ways that we can make sure that we keep this going forward. I have been a proponent of the NIL. It's only been in the last 5 years, but
Right.
those players generate big funds for schools. So I appreciate you, Coach Washington, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I am a New York Yankee fan, so on and so forth. And I just when I asked about the GOAT situation, I think that is literally that's determined by the culture that you came up in. I grew up in those cultures. So most folks just stay with it. I mean, Dallas Cowboy fans stay Dallas Cowboy fans. The Steelers go Steeler fans. So that's why that is. Just whoever you like is whoever you like. Sports is what we do. I mean, a lot of things. Anything that you have, it's always sports involved with it.
Yeah. I think you also got to ask the question, like, what's the criteria of GOAT, right? Because I think there's people that look at it different ways. If we look at stats, and we're talking about men, LeBron is your GOAT. But if I'm going to think about who I want to finish a game and win a game for me, I'm going to pick Michael Jordan. So it's just what's the criteria? What are you looking at as far as like who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan is the most entertaining. He's the most exciting to watch. So I think that's something that people might consider GOAT, because he's just it's an instinct about him that people love. But there's things that LeBron does that, when you think about like how many players that have been able to, get championships or get Nike deals because of him, and things that he's put other people onto, and how he's brought teammates into, his bubble. So, it's just, again, what's the criteria?
Well, let me ask this question: who's the GOAT in women? I know I heard you say Nafisa and Asia.
I'm biased. I'm going to choose Asia every time.
What do you think about?
I go along with Asia. I watched her on TV and watched her growing up. Roscoe finished from Benedict. In fact, he was a coach at Benedict at one time. In fact,
I didn't know that.
That's when I came in after Roscoe at Benedict. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So the family is basketball, and Asia would come over to the games with him sometime.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Watched her grow up as a young lady, and I'm just so happy for the entire family, and especially Asia.
Yeah.
That's too.
And her game keeps evolving, right? So every year, add something new to what she's doing. She's shooting threes now. She's putting the ball on the floor and creating baskets for herself. She's no longer like, I need somebody to pass me the ball. I think that still, has to happen because of her position. But if need be, she can create the shot for herself now. So it's just good to see her game evolve over time.
Okay. Okay. I think that the Lynx are the number one team in that league, and uh, they are there, and the Liberty is a good team too. So
Yeah.
okay, all righty. We had about 35 minutes. Um, Reverend Millie, you got any other questions?
Well, I'm just enjoying to learn from all of you, and I'm really in awe of all of the work that um, all of y'all are doing, even as a referee. Um, a Hall of Famer last year, 2024, at the SAIC, and also I'm thoroughly interested in the journey that's going on with Miss Irick there, Miss Olivia, Miss Livy, and I'm just very grateful that you all took the time to share your insights on sports with us and keep us engaged in things that are earthly fun, earthly good. We don't have to be so earthly bound that we know no earthly good. And so we thank you for obliging us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to, as we I don't want to overstep my boundaries in terms of just the amount of time that we're here. I do want to say that uh, I know we're in the middle of baseball season, and we are getting set for football. College is in about a month, 6 weeks from now, and basketball just turned over. But I believe that one of the questions that asks, what do we do that we can try to integrate? And I want to make sure that we always, because sports is always here, but also just the whole arena of just the fact that we Benedict always those teams come over to First Nazareth all the time, and they worship with us at the beginning of the year, and some of the players even still come through. And I just want to thank you, Coach Washington, for that, for your teams coming over there, the basketball teams and the football teams. And if you want any of those other teams, because I've been watching them, the track and field, any of that, those baseball teams, because the baseball teams are pretty good too. If they wanted to come, I'm sure that Pastor would not have a problem with them coming to worship at all.
Well, we appreciate it, and I see First as a home church, and I encourage the teams and all of the teams to try to get on the schedule to come over and be a part, because First Nazareth, is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's in the same community. The only thing I would say to young people, if they're out there and anybody's listening, and let's go ahead and get prepared. If you want to play sports in college,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the 9th, 10th grade, go ahead and go to the NCAA, have your counselor, your transcript in. You need to start preparing, because if you wait until you get to be a senior, then there's going to be another million people trying to go through that same portal. But if
Right.
you send it in and there and you get your ID number, go ahead and prepare like it's a business. And you got to see it as a business, because going to college scholarship and you're not paying any money, and the cost at some schools is $20, $30, $40,000. So when you can take that burden off your parents or
Right.
or yourself, that helps the family in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to start preparing ahead of time. You got to take certain courses. You got to these things. Any school will send out some athletic department to sit down with you, with your athlete, and discuss these things, because that's important that you get ready to go to college. You just can't walk out of college and say, I'm gonna go down to Carolina and play. There are certain lines, there are certain courses, there are certain criteria you got to meet. You can be the greatest player in the world. If you don't leave there with the right set of courses, and you're not going anywhere. As soon as they find out that you're going to be going anywhere, you're going to have to set out quite naturally. You can go into the pros, you can skip high school and things of that nature. But very few will go that route. The NILs and all of that goes away in college, because you're not going to be eligible. So we need to win academics as well. when coming through there, to make certain that we're working towards getting a degree for afterwards. But you got to work before you get there also.
Okay.
Now, be prepared. You want a career in athleticism. Ironically, the ESPYs are on tonight. I didn't even realize how aligned we were. The ESPYs are on tonight on channel ABC. It's going to be hosted by comedian Shane Gillis. So that's something to kind of reinforce some of the awards that are given for different sports categories. So tune into that.
They're gonna have the play of the year. If it's somebody catching a home run and bringing it back, or what was the guy's name from Philadelphia that jumped over the man's back, so on and so forth, as they got ready to go forward to win the Super Bowl. It's a lot of things that are going to be on tonight in terms of just they got Team of the Year, and they got for men and women, they got Player of the Year. It's a lot. It's a lot on ESPN. If you want to watch it, it'll be on ESPN as part of that ABC package. Correct.
That's it. Well, I believe our hearts and minds are clear. I think our online congregation and audience were a little shy on the sports conversation. I thought we were gonna have as many Cowboy fans and everything. We have we have team day to where we wear our jersey Sundays a couple times a year. And as much as we show out for that, I thought we were gonna have some smack talking online, but they didn't do that today. So we just do appreciate once again having y'all on and adding to the conversation and letting us know what's going on, especially with NILs and some of the latest issues that are in the headlines. So we pray God speak for you, and travel safe, and continue to do great work.
Thanks.
Yes. And Olivia, I will message you my number. Could you get that to Mr. Washington for me?
Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing. We'll be glad to.
All right.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm